morning. Today we have discussed about the classification of solids. In this video is completely based on KTU solid state device syllabus. So all of you welcome to this section. So the course objectives are to provide an insight into the basic semiconductor concepts and to provide a sound understanding of current semiconductor devices and technology to appreciate its application to electronic circuits and systems. Mainly, actually we all know that the solids can be classified as metals, semiconductors and insulators based on conductivity or resistivity and energy bands in electronics. This helps us understand the band theory and the importance of valence and conduction bands in solids. Let us also study the types of semiconductor. In the case of band, or the concept of band is in a crystal, in every electron has a different energy levels. These different energy levels along with the continuous variation of energies are called as the energy bands. In this case, the energy band, which include the energy levels of the valence electrons is called valence band. Also, the energy band above, it is called conduction band. If there is no external energy is applied, then the valence electrons stay in the valence band itself. Now, electrons move from the valence band to the conduction band when the lowest level in the conduction band is lower than the highest level in the valence band. Usually the conduction band is empty in states. So this is a basic concept of band. In this case, or this picture describes in an atom, electrons in the innermost orbits which are filled called valence electrons, and on other hand electrons in the outer orbits that do not fill the shell completely are called as the conduction electrons. In this picture we can see the conduction band and valence band, and EC is the conduction band lowest energy and EV is the highest valence energy. This is a general band diagram of the solid systems. In this figure, here EC denotes the lowest energy level of the conduction band and EV denotes the highest energy levels of the valence band. In this case, the solids where the valence band is partially empty, hence the electrons from the lower energy levels can move to the higher levels, making conduction is possible. Also, the resistivity of such solids is low or the conductivity is high. When an electric field is applied, electron may flow through the material if there is an empty state in the outer or valence shell of the atoms that make up the material, and electron will not easily transfer between atoms if there is not a vacant state of similar energy in the receiving atom for it to occupy. In this case, the energy difference between orbitals within a band is slight. So, the electron can move freely among these orbitals within an energy band as long as the orbitals are not completely occupied. The highest occupied energy band is called as a valence band, but there is a region that separates the vacant band from the conduction band where there are no orbitals. Electrons are not allowed to have their energies. In the case of the insulator, this energy gap is relatively larger, and in the semiconductor the energy gap is intermediate stage, that means in between the conductor and insulator. So in this case we all know that the solids are classified based on the bands and the conductivity or resistivity. Based on band, the solids can be classified as conductors, insulators and semi. In this case, this diagram describes a solid where the conduction and valence band overlap each other. These solids are called as the conductors. In this case, the lowest energy level of the conduction band is below the highest level of the valence energy. Then EC is the conduction energy and EV is the valence energy. Here EG is equal to 0. EG is the energy band gap. This band gap is between the valence band and the conduction band. In this case, the valence band is partially empty and hence electrons from the in this case the electrons can easily move from the valence to the conduction band. This makes a large number of electrons available for the conduction. So in this case, the resistivity of such solid is low and the conductivity is very high because of the electrons freely move through the conduction band, because of valence band and conduction band is overlap with each other. And second one is the insulator. The insulator means that in this diagram represents the solid where the energy gap Eg is very large, that is approximately is greater than 3 electron volt. The forbidden energy gap is that energy gap in between occurs in between the valence band and the conduction band. In this case, due to this large gap, electrons cannot be excited to move from the valence to the conduction band itself or by thermally excitation. So there is no type of charge carriers movement, that means no conduction is taking place. So in this case, the conductivity is very less and the resistivity is very large. One of the best example of the insulator is a glass, plastics, etc. In the case of conductor, example is that metals, etc. are the example of the conductor. And next one is the semiconductor. This is one of the important classification of solids. In this case, the conduction band and valence band are separated by less than or equal to 3 electron volt. That is the forbidden energy gap is equal to or less than 3 electron volt. That means the insulator forbidden energy gap is very high compared to the semiconductor or conductor. In this case, since the gap is very small, some of the electrons acquires enough energy even at the room temperature itself and enter the conduction band. So these electrons can move the conduction band, then increasing the conductivity of the solids. These are the semiconductors. So in the case of the semiconductor acts as partially as a conductor and partially as a insulator. The temperature of the semiconductor increasing, at that time the conductivity of the semiconductor also increases. So one of the best example of a semiconductor is a silicon and germanium. Different types of semiconductors. According to composition of atoms, the semiconductors are classified as elemental semiconductors and the compound semiconductors. In elemental semiconductor, it's defined as all the constituent atoms are of the same kind. That means all the characteristics and properties of the atoms are equal or that is same in the case of elemental semiconductor. One of the best example of the elemental semiconductors are germanium and silicon. These two elements belongs to the group 4 of the periodic table. All the group 4 elements has 2 electrons in their outermost p subshell and crystallize in a diamond type structure in which the neighboring atoms are bound by homoplanar cohesive forces. These forces determine the two important properties of these materials. First one is the melting point and the second one is the energy gap. The cohesive forces are weakened with an increase in atomic number, and this is reflected by an increase in the size of the atom and decrease in the melting point and band gap. Thus, there is a gradual transition from strongly insulating to essential metallic behavior. This is all about the elemental semiconductor. Second one is the compound semiconductor. In compound semiconductor, such as a gallium arsenide, have a mixed bonding in which both ionic and covalent bonding forces participate. The ionic bond means valence electron completely transferred from one atom to neighboring atoms. Then the covalent bond means that the two neighboring atoms are bonded with valence electrons. Some ionic bonding is to be expected in a crystal such as gallium arsenide because of the difference in places of the gallium and arsenide atoms in a periodic table. Another type of classification of semiconductors are according to the doping. Doping means the introduction of impurities into a semiconductor crystal to be defined modification of conductivity. Two of the most important materials, silicon, can be doped with a boron. It has 3 valence electrons, that is equal to trivalent, and phosphorus is the another impurity. It has 5 valence electrons, so it is called pentavalent. Other materials are aluminum, indium, arsenic, antimony, etc. The dopant is integrated into the lattice structure of the semiconductor crystal. The number of outermost electrons define the type of doping. The elements with the 3 valence electrons are used for p-type doping and 5 valued elements for n-type doping. The conductivity of a deliberately contaminated silicon crystal can be increased by a factor of 10 raised to 6. So, based on the doping, the semiconductor is classified into two, that is extrinsic semiconductor and intrinsic semiconductor. The intrinsic semiconductor means that it's a pure form of semiconductor. Pure form means that it has no addition of impurities are called intrinsic semiconductor. The extrinsic semiconductors are the pure form of semiconductor added with some of the impurity. The impurity is n-type or p-type, whatever it is. So, the extrinsic semiconductor is that addition of the impurity into pure form of semiconductor or intrinsic semiconductor. So, the extrinsic semiconductor is again classified by two, p-type semiconductor and n-type semiconductor. The intrinsic semiconductor is a perfect semiconductor crystal with no impurities or lattice effect is called as the intrinsic semiconductor. In such a material, there are no charge carriers at 0 Kelvin. Therefore, valence band is filled with the electrons and conduction band is empty. At a higher temperature, electron-hole pairs are generated as valence band. Electrons are excited thermally across the band gap to the conduction band. These electron-hole pairs are the only charge carriers in the intrinsic semiconductors. If one of the silicon valence electrons is broken away from its position in the bonding structure, it becomes free to move and a hole is left behind. A energy required to break the covalent bond is called as the band gap energy. So, in the case of the intrinsic semiconductor, N is equal to P is equal to Ni. Here N is the concentration of electrons and P is equal to concentration of holes and Ni is the intrinsic carrier concentration. The extrinsic semiconductor means in a semiconductor, charge carriers may be introduced by adding impurity to it. This process is called as the doping. It is used for varying the conductivity of a semiconductor. In doped semiconductor, the electron concentration N0 and hole concentration P0 is different. Such semiconductor is called extrinsic semiconductor. The extrinsic semiconductor is again classified by two based on type of impurity which are added in the pure form of semiconductor. First one is the p-type semiconductor. In p-type semiconductor, if the semiconductor is doped with an element having at least one less electron than the host material, then a p-type or positive type semiconductor is formed. A semiconductor doped with a trivalent impurity like gallium, boron, indium, etc. from a p-type semiconductor. These impurities introduce energy level in the band gap of silicon or germanium near to the valence band. This level is empty at 0 Kelvin. At the low temperature, enough thermal energy available to excite the electron from valence band to the impurity level, leaving holes in the valence band. Therefore, this type of impurity level accepts electron from the valence band. This level is called as the acceptor level, and trivalent impurities is also known as the acceptor impurity, that is in germanium and silicon. Here the electrons are minority carriers and holes are majority carriers in case of p-type semiconductor. In the case of p-type semiconductor, the concentration of holes are greater than Ni. Ni means that intrinsic level, and N0 is less than Ni. N0 is the concentration of electrons, that is less than intrinsic level of concentration. One of the best example of the p-type semiconductor in a pure form of silicon and added with boron impurity. In this case, the free place on the boron atom is filled with an electron. Therefore, a new hole is generated. This hole moves in the opposite direction to the electron. So, in the case of p-type semiconductor, the holes are the majority charge carriers, and in this case the holes are show the conducting property. The next one is the n-type semiconductor. If the element used for doping has at least one more valence electron than the host semiconductor, then an n-type or negative type semiconductor is created. That means if our semiconductor is germanium and silicon, it have 4 electrons in the outermost shell. So in the n-type semiconductor, the adding impurity valence electrons are greater than 4. That is the meaning of n-type semiconductor. So in this case, a semiconductor doped with a pentavalent impurity. Examples are antimony, phosphorus, etc. are called as n-type semiconductors. The pentavalent impurity introduces an energy level in the band gap close to the conduction band in germanium or silicon. This level is filled with the electron at 0 Kelvin, and very little thermal energy is required to excite these electrons to conduction band, because of, in this case, large majority carriers are electrons and minority carriers are the holes. Thus at 50 to 100 Kelvin, all the electrons in the impurity level are donated to the conduction band. Such an impurity level is known as the donor level, and the pentavalent impurity in germanium and silicon are called donor impurity. In n-type semiconductor, electrons are the majority carriers and holes are the minority carriers. In this case, N0 is greater than Ni and P0 is less than Ni. That means the electron concentration is greater than the intrinsic level of concentration and hole concentration is less than the intrinsic level of concentration. Example of n-type impurity addition: in pure form of silicon, phosphorus is added. The silicon have 4 electrons in the outermost shell and phosphorus have 5 electrons in the outermost shell. Then phosphorus atoms donates its 5th valence electrons and it acts as a free carrier, charge carriers. In this case, electrons are the majority carriers, so electrons are freely moving in the conduction band. The electronic band gap structure in doped semiconductor. Here the two types of semiconductors are explained here. Then in this case, in n-doped semiconductor, there is an electron in the crystal which is not bounded and therefore can be moved with relatively little energy into the conduction band. There is an n-doped semiconductor. One finds a donator energy level near the conduction band edge. The band gap to overcome is very small. Second one, the trivalent dopant in a semiconductor, a hole is available which may be already occupied at low energy by an electron from the valence band of the silicon. For p-doped semiconductor, one finds an accepted energy level near the valence band. These are all about the semiconductors and the classification of solids based on the bands, etc. So thank you for watching.